So, Zakaria, I think we're live now. Shall we start?
Yes.
Perfect. So, hi everyone. I hope you all had a great day. I would like to welcome you to Youth Coaching Webinars. And today we have a special guest from Casablanca who's going to deliver an interesting speech on reaching goals. So first, it's with great delight that I welcome you, Zakaria. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, it's
I'm
with great
honored.
pleasure. It's with great
Thank you.
pleasure. We're honored to have you today. So I will now introduce our guest. Zakaria Ayuttharay is one of Morocco's youngest writers to self-publish 2 books in English. In 2019, right after he graduated with an English degree, he published his first book. It's actually a collection of poems and short stories entitled When the Night Sleeps. In January of this year, he published his second book, and this time it's a debut novel. It's Pleased to Kill. Such a scary title. It's actually
Yes.
a story about, it's actually a teenage psychopath who has taken it upon himself to decide who's worth living and who's not. So Zakaria is currently working on a national book tour, and at the same time, he's pursuing his master's studies in Moroccan American Studies at Hassan II University in Casablanca. And of course, he's also an English language teacher. Such an amazing bio, Zakaria.
Thank you. It sounds weird, but
Yeah, no, but
thank
it's
you.
amazing. So today's topic is one of its kind. Who on earth does not aspire to reach his goals, small or big ones? Getting good grades at university, setting up own business, becoming a motivational speaker, or writing a book. We all have dreams and objectives, and we all are eligible to go after them. No matter how much time it will take us, and no matter how many obstacles we're going to face along the way. Okay, and that's why we've invited today Zakaria Ayuttharay, who's going to share with us his experience and his journey in publishing 2 books and thus becoming a Moroccan author at a very young age. So Zakaria, I'm pretty sure the process you have been through in order to attain your goals was not as easy as you might have thought. Like there will be moments of self-doubt, sleepless nights, obstacles, and high level of anxiety. So how were you able to get through it all, to come up with 2 inspiring books and to create all this impact with your videos while you were under so much stress?
Um, Before answering that question, I would like to just go back to something that you said. You said, "Who on earth would not want goals and want to set out goals?" And uh, I guess, and this is something that I'm starting to learn, that a lot of people are really don't want to set goals, and it's a deliberate act. It's not just it may not be really conscious, but it's under the motivation behind it. It's quite understandable because um the thing that I'm struggling with right now is that when you really have a goal, you you're blessed and cursed at the same time. It's not quite easy, especially if you really really know what you want. And the good thing about it is that, look, you know what you want. That's a good. Now all you have to do, and this is the very horrible thing about it, is that you have to go and actually try to get it. And it anything that you have, well, let's talk about just why it's important to have a goal, because people don't really understand like the importance of a goal and the importance that it can literally save your life at certain times, though it might seem as an exaggeration. um, it's not like it's a luxury to have a goal. It's not like it's, well, you're now an adult, so you better have a goal, or otherwise you will just, I don't know, drift away. That's true, but it's not like you should have a goal. Is that you actually need it? It's not a luxury. It's a necessity in your life. Is Well, here's something interesting that I just learned recently is that kids, especially when after the age of 2, one of the things that they start doing is that they started pointing at things with their index finger. They start pointing and they start seeing the reaction of other people. So when you grow old, that's exactly what you do. You point at something that's a goal that you have, and you go on and get it. And a lot of people who are really having a horrible time in life is just, it might be some other reasons, but one of the reasons might be because they don't have something that they're actually working on. And your body responds to your body gives you some good feeling, I would say, when you have something that you're following. Just take an example of everyone who has been preparing for a degree, I don't know, a baccalaureate, licence, or anything. So during those preparations, you really are, hopefully, I would say it's not all the time, but you really are in the mood. You wake up, you prepare, you do those things, and you feel good if you know that you're having some kind of a progress. And you finally, congrats, you graduate. The day after you graduate, instead of feeling like the happiness that you were hoping to feel, you feel some kind of emptiness. Everyone experiences this. You've been working on something for a long time, and you expect that after you get it, you'll feel this overwhelming kind of pleasure and happiness, but you feel those things, but for a brief time. And right after that, your body tells you, okay, well, what now? You need something else to guide yourself in life, because that's all you have. You literally need something to follow, because otherwise anything that comes will just like, you'll be like something very small in a storm. You just, anything that comes will pick you and just like take you wherever that thing wants. And it's not the cliche things like you should have a goal and you should be positive and you should follow it. No, it's quite difficult, and it might be one of the hardest things that you want, that you do. But at least you have something. At least you have something that when something is going wrong with your life, when you're facing really horrible problems, and that are not your fault, and which happens. Maybe someone in your family is sick, um, unfortunate death, or anything. Especially with the current climate, things are really, really bad for a lot of people. But at least if you're following something, if you have a goal and you've directed yourself towards something, you can at least say to yourself right before you go to bed, well, with all these things that are going on, with all these horrible things that are happening in my life and the life of the ones that I love, at least I have chosen something to guide myself. um, I have dedicated a part of my life for that thing, and I've chosen that, and I'm responsible for that. And it gives me um, it gives me some kind of a meaning, because that's what you need. You need something that gives your life meaning. Otherwise, why are you here? And a really well set goal is a nice way to have meaning in your life. So that's the first thing. And I've lost the recollection of this question that you've asked. What's the
Ye-
first question again?
yes, I'm gonna repeat it. So I said that you like the process you've been through while attaining your goals was not as easy as you might have thought. Like sometimes you will feel like you're not enough to go after these dreams. Sometimes you will have like sleepless nights and all that. So how were you able to get through them all, like, and to come up with these two books? So how was the process?
Yeah, well, I guess I touched upon it a little bit is because writing, um, among many other things, it gives my life meaning. Like, I don't think I can survive without it, or I don't think I'll be as emotionally stable without it. It's it gives me a sense of meaning. It gives my life a certain value, and it might seem a little a little selfish at the beginning, because it's serving me first of all. And well, let me tell you just a story, but just because about 3 years ago, when I decided to take take a year off from school and not work, not apply for my master's. And the only thing I would do is just sit down and try to edit and write the first book, the It Pleased to Kill. And it's all because, and I've talked about this several times. It's all because of there's just a little voice in my head, just like, trust me and do this. And I decided to take a year and dedicate a whole year to that specific goal, like doing nothing but producing content online to market myself and to actually write and work on the book for more than 12 months. And the results that I was kind of expecting from that were quite much better than I had received. Though the results that I had received, coming to think about it right now, it's overwhelming. And the second year, I was like, okay, I gave last year to the book, and I published the book. Congrats, people bought the book, people liked the book, and all of that. Now I need to, although it wasn't as successful as I hoped for, but at least, okay, now we should move on. I should apply for my master's and get a real job, as they say. And when I applied for the master's that year, I wasn't accepted, unfortunately. And I came back home, I remember, and I didn't know what to do now. I don't have a goal. I wasted, I wouldn't say wasted, I said, last year, I told my parents that I'm going to take this year off to focus on the book, and the next year I'll apply for my master's. And they were like, okay, but this year I failed, and now I have nothing. The results from the book that happened didn't come. Um, I wasn't accepted in the master's. I was applying to get jobs, but you know what they say, you give your CV and they tell you just like, we'll call you later, and nothing happens. And I felt I felt like a complete failure. And I still remember my mom was calling those times and asking me to just come by and visit. And I always find these excuses not to go back home because I felt almost ashamed. And I hit a really, really horrible place. And the only thing that made sense at that time is just to go, find a corner in the house, set up a desk, and start writing. And that's what I did at that time. I wrote this manuscript in like 3 months that I still have right now, that I'm planning to publish, I don't know, sometime soon later. And I really did not know what to do. But at that time, whenever I picked my phone, and from time to time I would receive a text or a comment from someone that I don't know, um, telling me thank you for the things that you do, or thank you for publishing that book, thank you for publishing that essay. I've read that thing and it gave me hope and it helped me, and perhaps it motivated me to write, and perhaps it's just um, made me understand that you can be a Moroccan person um, without anything and actually publish a book in English in Morocco. And I was like, why am I feeling so horrible when the thing that I'm doing is bringing value not just to me but to other people? And that's a noble goal, at least as far as I'm concerned. It's something that's given my life meaning, and at the same time contributing to some kind of a small community. And I wouldn't say helping, but at least showing some kind of a hope for someone else. Because a lot of people did not actually, and I was really surprised by this, a lot of people did not actually know that you can actually publish a book in Morocco. A lot of people were blind that you can take a few steps and actually have a book written by you with your name on it. And I was like, okay, I have failed. I The things that I wanted did not happen, but at least I'm bringing something of value. And I would not have been at least mentally well or survived that depression hadn't it been for those messages and those comments and the people around me telling me that that you should be proud of yourself and all of that. So that's what a goal brings you, especially if you set up a nice goal. It gives value to you first of all, and it gives some kind of value to the people around you. It doesn't mean that you should like have a very big and exaggerated goal of changing the world, but it's just you start small with what you have, and the things kind of echo. Because if you do something that would motivate at least your brother knows some kind of another person, and that person knows another person. It's just it it echoes, it goes beyond what you've expected. And seeing that really made me understand that setting up that goal in the first place to publish a book, it was one of the greatest things that you do. Because first of all, I know what I was doing. I had a goal, and that helped me justify when things go bad. Well, at least I'm doing this. And the value that it brought for me and for a lot of other people just show just how important it is for you to guide yourself towards something. It's not just for you, it's for you wouldn't understand until you actually do it. Because if you set yourself straight and you do something that it's, I wouldn't say positive, but at least responsible for you, well, your actions must have some kind of a reaction. Your actions must have some kind of an echo to them that perhaps that will pick up. And you don't know how those actions actually ripple. It's like when you drop a stone in a in a in a pool or a lake or something. It creates these kind of waves, and they go all the way just from a really small stone. And it's really like that. And the same thing could be said for not doing anything. And it's not like you're not doing anything, you just sit down and wait. No, you throw a stone, but that stone has a very negative impact. um yeah, I would say that's it.
Exactly, Zakaria. Like for me, setting goals or having goals is a must, and then actually reaching those goals is where the real work comes in. And you have talked about failure and all that. And I see that failing is always like the first opportunity in learning. I'm sure you have like inspired a lot of youth, and one of them is my friend. I guess you know her name, Shayma Beltarshi. Like she got like inspired by you, and then she wrote a book, and then she published, and that was like amazing. And I was proud of her, proud of you as well. So
Yeah, well, I
always,
really don't know. I don't know how to respond to those things. I'm just
yeah,
for
yeah,
me it's just I'm sitting alone in my house doing something, and
yeah,
those things happen, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should keep doing this. And that's one of those things that keeping me going
exactly.
actually.
Exactly. So failure doesn't matter for me. Like I would prefer to fail and then like succeed, or to never fail and never succeed. This is, and I'm sure you've experienced You have like inspired a lot of people, I'm sure. So you have experienced a lot of things, and you have had downs and ups. So what has been the biggest lesson of like in the last few years, like the one that has most impact on you?
Um, okay, so this is
Mm.
again from the same experience. I keep referring to it as a bad experience, but the more I think about it, the more I understand was just something that you had to go through to learn something, I guess. And one of the things that I've learned, and this is with the help of um, books and people and the things that I read, is that it's not okay. It's not really about um, being happy. This is this is what I've understand, and I really wish I'm glad because I know it at a fairly young age, and it keeps me grounded. Um, Happiness is not my goal, and I don't think it will ever be, because it's happiness is an emotion, okay, and emotions are transitory. They come and they go, and it's you can't really control them, especially happiness. You cannot control when you're happy. Sometimes a wonderful thing a wonderful thing happens to you, and you're blasé, as they say. Okay, and some other time just a small thing happens and you're like so happy. So you really can't control it, but when you're happy, that's a good thing. And but I've learned not to actually have that as a goal or as something that I would strive for. Like my goal is to be happy. Absolutely not, because when I was really depressed and when I was really having a hard time, I wasn't happy. But at the same time, uh, I wasn't in a very horrible state, because those, for example, those things that I've been doing, and the reaction of my friends and the people around me and the people that I've never seen or never know, and the reactions of those people is what made me understand that it's not really happiness um, that I should aim for, but it's the thing that I should aim for is this, to have this sense of responsibility and to have meaning in my life. And it's just um, writing gives my life meaning. And when I go and have those reactions from people, or when I sit down and finish a book and send it to a friend, and she or he would feel um, great, and they say, well, you should be proud of yourself, you wrote 2 books. And it was like, okay, I understand, I'm not happy. um, okay, I might be happy at other times in the future. I was happy in the past. Those things come and go, but I have something that I'm responsible for. I have something that gives my life meaning. I should keep on doing it, because that's the only thing that will um, maintain me, I would say, or maintain a healthy mental state for me to keep on going. And that's one of the most important and most crucial lessons that I've learned in the past 3 years. Um, the other thing is that the other thing is that you should really try to improve yourself. Um, you and I don't say improve yourself as become like a genius in 2 months, or it's just try to do to the best of your ability anything that will help you become a better person, in terms of intellect, in terms of attitude, in terms of your job, in terms of your work, in terms of your studies. Like, there are a lot of people who don't know um, what they want to do in life, and um, you don't really know what to say, because you can't say, well, do this or do that. You should let them figure it out by themselves. But at least what you can say to them is that, okay, how about making yourself better, or bettering yourself as a goal, while you actually try and find out what kind of a career you want to do. um, I'm glad that I found or I wouldn't say I found, but I've realized that okay, writing and publishing and are one of my dreams and goals at a young age. But at the same time, even if I don't have those things as tangible goals in the future, at least I would set a goal for me to become a better student, I would say, or a better teacher if I'm teaching. So that's really important as well, because you don't know how you don't know the limits to the things you can become, and until you actually try. And the more you try, the more you push those limits away, the more you raise the bar, the more you become better, and the more you aspire to become better than that. And it doesn't end, because you can never first of all, you can never be perfect, even though I don't know what that perfect means. But that process of becoming a better person, whatever that person is, it's just, it's a responsibility, and it's a goal. It's a really nice goal to have if you don't have like a career goal or anything. Just be better at what you do, or be better at who you are, and hopefully that process will help you find another thing, because at least you guided yourself towards something, and maybe something will change on your way there, and you'll notice that, okay, maybe I should try this, or maybe I should try that. At least when you're moving, you're having some other possibilities. It's not like you're standing in your place. Yeah, so those two things, I would say, they're one of the most important things that I've learned in the past few years.
Yeah, interesting, Eddie. You know, self-improvement is so crucial. Like you have to better yourself every day. It's not in order to become a genius, as you said, but at least you have to become the best version of yourself. So bettering
Yeah.
yourself, improving yourself every day is crucial.
Well, you
Exactly.
can
So
understand. You can.
Zakaria, a lot of individual. Yeah, yeah. Go
I
ahead.
said you can understand why people don't want to have those things, because it's it's intimidating when you say, "Well, I want to be this kind of person." Well, this is I learned from studying a little bit of the psychologist Jordan Peterson. It's when you set a goal, or when you actually give yourself um, a version of yourself that you would want to be, you're actually setting an ideal. Okay, this is the person that I would want to be. So when you speak that out into existence and you formulate that person, now that person is actually judging you. Okay, when you do something that's not guiding you towards that person is now judging you. It's judge telling you, okay, you shouldn't do this, or you should do that, and that feels horrible, and a lot of people don't want to do that. And you can understand that, because it really feels horrible to have some kind of an ideal judging you. And but it's a part of the process, because if you don't have an ideal that you're striving for, then what are you doing exactly? It's just and the other thing is that people don't want to appear as stupid and as ignorant. So when you start something, it's really intimidating, because when you start it, you really don't know what you're doing. And unless you're a genius, or unless you're a very lucky person, you really are going to really suck at it. Um, and the, in the book, what is it? Notes from the Underground by Dostoevsky is one of my favorite books. He said, well, only the fool become something. The fool is the precursor to the savior. This is another thing, is that before the savior becomes the savior, he or she must be a fool at something. They start as a fool. They start as someone who's ignorant. They don't know anything. But by incremental progress, they become a champion or a savior. And a lot of people don't want to be fools. And it's okay to be fool as long as you're striving for someone or for something. But as long as you're not striving for something, you're just a stagnant fool. You're standing, and it's stupid. It's just it doesn't, it's not serving you, it's not serving your family, it's not serving people in your community, and there's nothing you can benefit from it. And when something
Exactly.
wrong happens, you don't have something with which you can fight back.
Exactly, Zakaria. And the thing is this, like it's crazy, the moment you start bettering yourself, it gets like addictive. You will be surprised by the results you will get. So a lot of individuals like want their dreams to come true. We want to achieve plenty of goals, but the thing is that we are not aware of how things work. Like, for instance, I would set a lot of objectives or goals for myself. Some of them may take years to attain, others are not even my priorities. And I will tell myself that by the end of this year, I will have achieved all of them. But when the year is over, like I might be disappointed by the fact that none of my dreams or goals have been reached. So, according to you, Zakaria, what are some of the principles or maybe the criteria that I have to respect in like follow in order not to disappoint myself at the end and like in order to actually reach those goals?
Well, that the first thing is that you should be really, really cautious and careful when setting the goal in the first place. Is that you don't want to set a goal that's really too difficult for you to achieve, and at the same time that's making you feel horrible because nothing that you will do at the moment will help you gain that goal because it's just ridiculously beyond your capacity. So you really need to understand your capabilities and your resources before you set out a goal. You really don't want to set a goal that it's just I'm not. I'm 24. I'm not going to set a goal that, for example, well, by next year I should have a book that it's internationally well known, and my name should be with one of the most famous writers ever. The possibility of that happening are really, really slow, and because I know what I'm doing and I know that it's going to take time, I'm not going to set that goal now, at least. It's just, and at the same time, you don't want to use that as an excuse to set a goal that's not really challenging, because you need a goal that challenges you to to grow better. Okay, there's this zone. People notice this in language acquisition. It's just when adults are talking to little babies, they use a language that is not as simple as the language of the baby or the child, but not as complicated as the language they use as adults. They use this language that's in the middle, and they call that the zone of proximate. I forgot the name.
Development or
Yes, yes, the zone of
yes,
proximate development, I guess. And when you're
and
reaching
also
for
it's
something,
called sorry, Zakaria, to interrupt you.
yeah,
It's also called parenting, like this language that is oversimplified for these babies or infants.
yeah, but it's not simplified to the extent that they actually know everything that you're saying. You're giving them something that they
Yeah,
understand, but at the same time, you're challenging their language acquisition by giving them something that they don't understand.
exactly.
And that's what you need when you set out a goal. You need something that's in that middle. You don't want something that's really too high that's just going to make you feel horrible for not doing it. You need something that's challenging you a little bit, and once you get to do that, it kind of grows. That zone grows incrementally. It's just like not jumping from A to Z at one point, but you take certain steps to get there. And it's really crucial in understanding that. For example, maybe you want to set out, maybe you want to have a better physique, a better body. You're not going to say, well, in a month, I want this kind of body, summer body. If not, I'm not even going to try. You go to the gym for a week, you realize that there's absolutely no progress. Well, you feel horrible. And what do? You quit. You need to understand that it takes higher goals take longer time. And if you're going to set a goal, you need to understand the the time that's going to take you to achieve that goal. So time is also relevant. You shouldn't just, well, by 25 I need to be a billionaire. That's highly unlikely. So you really need to be careful in choosing your goals. You don't want to make the stupid decision of cursing yourself with the goal that you know that you will never achieve, and you just are going to use as a pre-excuse for you to give up at the beginning. So maybe step by step. Hopefully most of the people that are watching us today are just roughly our age. So hopefully you live a long life, and you don't want to jump steps, because those steps are going to teach you certain things that you need. So be careful when you set out goals. Just understand your capacity and set a goal that's going to challenge that capacity, but it's not going to make you feel horrible because you know you'll never achieve it.
Exactly. And I would like to add something. Like, for example, you don't have to like set a lot of goals for you, because you will feel like you're overwhelmed, and you might not, at the end, you might not like achieve all these goals. So you have to start small, like just in business. They say you have to start small. And especially if you're a beginner, like if you haven't achieved a lot of goals, and you have just started this process of achieving or attaining your goals, so always
And you
start
all,
small,
yeah,
maybe 4 to 5, yeah, by like yeah, go ahead, Zakaria.
exactly. And you also need to like reward yourself and give yourself
Yeah.
some rest and give yourself some rewards for doing something good. It's not, for example, when I make a mess out of my room, and it's very frequent that I do so. When I decide to clean it, and when I decide to tidy up and make the bed and all of that, I do that and I say, well, now I did that for you. Well, what do you want? Or maybe I want some chocolate. Maybe I want some ice cream. Or okay, I'll give you ice cream. You need to treat yourself like a little kid sometime. You need to say to yourself, okay, okay, help me do this. And if you help me do this, maybe we can watch a movie. There's a movie that you've always been like wanting to watch. Maybe if we can do this, we can watch the movie. It's like people assume that there's only one person inside their personality, while they're not. It there are, well, if that's the case, you wouldn't be able, when you say to yourself, I'm going to do this, you do it. But you're not like a whole entity. You say you're going to do something, but you don't do it. So you need to kind of figure out a way for yourself to communicate with yourself to do those things. And rewarding is a really good thing. And something that I do is just a I would call it a talk to yourself meditation. Um, um I've I haven't been meditating for very recently, but I'm trying to get back to doing it. But one thing that I used to do is just um while I'm doing some meditation, I just like talk to myself. It's just like, for example, if I'm feeling bad, I'd say, ask myself, why are you feeling bad? And if I want to do something, I would ask myself for help. It's just like there's a person inside you that can help you, or there's a person inside you that can actually destroy you at the same time. But you need to communicate with that person so that at least you know the motivation behind it. Something that I also do is just when I have exams, I used to do this. The first 5 minutes of the exams, I don't do anything. I just sit down and I talk to my unconscious, whatever you want to call it, and just like, okay, I need your help with this thing. Just like, if you have some memory, if you have something, anything, just like give it to me, help me with this, let's go on. And I do those things, and it sounds stupid, but it really isn't, because you really need to treat yourself as someone else at the same time. That treat yourself as like you're treating your little brother or little sister or son or daughter. Just when you do something good, give yourself a little reward. And if you don't understand something in yourself, take the time, just like sit down, um, play some music that you love, and just like, what's up with you? Okay, I understand, for example, when you have a best friend or something and you scream at them for a reason that you know it's not quite accurate, and you know it's your fault, but at the same time you don't know why you did it. And that's a clue for you to take some time and just like, what's up, what's bothering you, is there anything that I should know? And if you do that enough, you'll find a nice way of communicating with yourself. And it's really helpful because you know who you are, and you get to check yourself when you do something that's not actually what you want, or when you do something that doesn't align with your values. And you kind of pick those things up more easily. If you, for example, you do something that you don't believe in, that person inside you will help you, will tell you, because now you're on his or her side. It's not like it's someone like a stranger to them. So yeah.
Exactly, definitely. And also we keep like telling people, do your best, do your best. But sometimes we also need to make something clear. Like sometimes doing your best does not mean pushing yourself to your breaking point. Like you need to take care of yourself first, to go easy on yourself though. Like some people would say, work hard, work hard. Yeah, you gotta work hard, but also you gotta work smart and take care of yourself, right?
Yeah, but at the same thing is that you really want to know, is it is it the right thing that you're working hard at? For example, when you set out a goal, the other question that you should ask yourself, is this really what I want? And you don't want to work for something 5 years and 6 years just to realize that you've made a horrible mistake. And this is a nice book to read is Leo Tolstoy's Death of Ivan Ilyich. It's a short book, but it's really packed with existential questions that will help you guide your life towards something. And it's about this guy who, in his deathbed, in his last weeks of his life, is just like he would start to contemplate whether everything that he did was actually worth it, whether the job as a judge, or whether the family he'd raised, whether everything that he has done in his entire life was actually worth it. And you don't want to get until the end to start questioning those things. So it's better to question them now. Is this really what I want? Is this really where I see myself in 5 years or 10 years? So that's another thing to actually do, or to communicate with yourself. And communicating with yourself frequently will help you know that, because you know yourself, you know what you want. And if something happens that or if something occurs, an opportunity that occurs that you don't want, you get to say no. When I was a couple of years ago, I had some job offers, and I had some family members who
Right,
were
okay. So kind of in law of attraction, like if you believe in something and you trust that it's
Najwa, I can't hear you well.
right, hear me?
I think you have
Hello?
some. I think you might have some issues with the internet. Maybe. Can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes. Yes, I can hear you clearly. Me?
Um, yes, but
No?
I can't hear you. You're kind of lagging a little bit. But now, maybe
Okay,
now
I
it's better.
will now it's good.
Yeah,
All
I can hear
right.
you now.
Yeah, so you were saying, or like you finished? I couldn't hear you.
Um, I don't remember where I stopped.
Okay, it's all right. So speaking of like goals and all that, do you believe in law of attraction? Like if you believe in something and you trust that it's coming, then you work on it, like you get it. But when I say work on it, I say consistency and discipline. I say prioritizing it and really devoting time for it every day. So, to what extent does law of attraction resonate with you?
It's kind of a tricky subject because some people take it as this hippie thing. Well, um, your job or anything that you have is actually coming to you, so you all you do is just a little bit of work. It might have some truth in it, absolutely, because we are creatures who can actually, who are guided by the things we actually uh, pay attention to. There's a famous experiment that they did with, excuse me, there's a famous experiment that they did where they where they took two different teams playing basketball. It's not playing basketball, just passing uh, the basketball to each other, a team in black and a team in white. And uh, they brought people and they said, well, just count how many times the team in the white shirts passed the ball. That's your goal as the people who are watching the video. Just count how many times the white team passed the ball. And okay, now you're counting, but what happens is that in the middle of the video, a man in a gorilla suit comes in, stands in just like in the front of camera, in front of the camera, and it's not like a small man, and it's not like someone who's just standing behind. No, it's really right there, and he bangs his chest like this for 2 seconds and just goes away. And a lot of people actually, when the experiment ends and say, okay, how many times did the white team pass the ball? And you're like, okay, 15 or 16. And they were like, and when you ask them, did you see the gorilla? Most of them are like, are you kidding? Like, what gorilla? And you play the video again. It's just like, there it is, a gorilla. And this shows you just like, okay, what you pay attention to is what you get. If you don't pay attention to something, the probability of you having that something or seeing it in the first place is highly unlikely. And where we are this maybe one of the best creatures who have no, we're one of the creatures who have the best sight in the world, because we need our eyes to actually see things. And it's not like other animals. We point at things, we go towards things, and if you focus on something, you'll actually you're more likely to get it. And that comes as this kind of law of attraction. If you for example, you buy a new shirt or something, and suddenly everyone is wearing that shirt, and before that you didn't pay attention to it at all. And those things are what people might mistake for the law of
The
attraction
law of
thing. And it's,
attraction.
yeah,
Yes,
and it's true
exactly.
because you get what you focus on. Because when you focus on something, your energy goes to that something, and you're more likely to actually get it. But if you don't focus on something, you don't have that thing at your sight in the beginning, you're not likely to even see it if it comes next to you. It's just you don't have it in your conceptual frame to begin with. So how the hell are you going to see it even if it's standing next to you? It's like the gorilla. What you focusing on the balls, and the real thing that you should be, or you're focusing on the team, while the real thing that you should be focusing on is the gorilla. And when the gorilla pops up in the video, you don't see it because you didn't have that goal in the first place. So yes, in that sense, I do believe in what people say is the law of attraction. But first of all, you need to conceptualize it to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. And there is like a saying that I love, which says, what you focus on will grow. And as you said, like you have to like set a goal and you have to focus on it. And this is why like many like people adopt this thing, like they would go and buy like a what do we call it, um like a board where they can put all their goals there in
Yeah,
front
dream
of
board.
them, so they can like look at it. Yes, exactly, like they can look at it every day, each day, so they can like remember that they have dreams to go after, and it's good to have it like in front of you.
Yeah, because it
So
points you
for
towards
me,
something. When you wake up and you see that board
exactly.
vision, it's just like, okay, that's everything that you should do today, or most of the things that you should do today should guide you towards this something, and you're more likely to get it. And it's not like you are going to get it 100% of the time, because also you should
Yeah.
you should give the unstable life or unpredictability of life its due. It's some people get sick, some people get unfortunate things happening to them.
Yeah.
It's not, you should not ignore that because well, who
Yeah.
knows, it might happen to you, it might happen to someone you care about, and you should really pay attention to, and you should really make yourself someone who's ready for those things. Because well, how would you deal if um, God forbid someone that you love just like passed away or faced something bad? You
Yeah.
need to really prepare yourself for those things. And guiding yourself for something prepares you, and helping yourself or making yourself a better person prepares you for those things. It's not like you're sitting down like a prey animal at your house, comfortable, not guiding yourself with
Yeah.
anything. It's just like when tragedy is going to come, it's going to destroy you. It's not like you
Mm.
like tragedy coming for you while you're actually making yourself a better person. You're more likely to sustain, you're more likely to survive. It's
Yeah.
not like that
Yeah, because you're
sitting at
you're
home.
already
Yeah,
prepared for all the, yeah. Yeah, and
yeah.
like for me, Zakaria, I believe that positive thoughts are powerful. They impact our mind and our lives. You know what? We tend to submerge ourselves in negative thinking or negative experiences instead of immersing ourselves in winning and growth. And we judge the moment, and that's why we fail most of the time. I always say that the law of attraction without action is nothing. Like you don't only have to like be positive about things, but you also have to work to get them. You really need to walk the extra mile to do the work, you know. And so, Zakaria, we are moving towards the end of this webinar. So, what is the best advice you can give today to our young people who are watching us, who are struggling with attaining their objectives, who will like often encounter, will face obstacles in barriers throughout their journey, and who have like high aims and high potential, but somehow are unable to see that they are capable and resilient and can actually be successful individuals in the near future.
um well, I think the first thing should begin with is that I'm not claiming that I've uh I reached the point where all I can say is just like look down at people and you say, well, you should do this and do that. No, I'm still failing myself. I still need to get a lot of things in my own life together, and I still have a lot of goals to achieve myself. But the thing that I've learned and the thing that's working for me is just like, well, if you have something that's orienting you or that's guiding you somewhere, really congratulations. That's a lot of the work done, because at least now you're aiming at something. And few things that I would say you should do is just like focus on making yourself better, and try to compare yourself less to other people and more to just yourself. Compare yourself to what you want to be in the future and see if you're growing. Compare yourself to who you were 5 years ago and see if there's some kind of a progress. The person I am today is absolutely not the person that I was 5 years ago. Or maybe if I take it back to 8 years, uh, I would not have recognized myself. And a lot of my family members actually see that, because I was the kid that you don't want to your child to be next to. This is how I was known in my family. And it's true. Like a lot of people in my family, a lot of relatives did not want their kids to hang out with me. And they had every reason to do that, because the action I was doing, or the things I was doing, or the character that I was portraying at that time really wasn't going anywhere. And I had teachers in high school that came to me like in my face and said to me that you will never be anything. And it's not like that. Oh, they didn't know. No, they did know. I was someone who was not going anywhere until I decided to just like be responsible for my life, because no one else is going to be responsible for my life, and I need to become a better person. And to do that, I need to uh, get to know what a good person is, or what does it mean to be a better person, what does it mean to be someone who's responsible. And I got to read, and I cannot stress how um, exposing yourself to knowledge in all its forms is important. Like when you read a book, when you listen to an audiobook, or when you listen to a podcast that is informative and that will help you with with the knowledge that you want to attain, it's not like you're the same person. When you read for example, it's just when you read a book, um, especially a book by someone who's a genius. When you start that book and when you finish it, you're not the same person because you've been introduced to a new way of thinking. You've been introduced to new information. You've been introduced to a new way of dealing with problems and dealing with life. And if you pay attention, you're really not the same person. And those are some of the things that will help you grow in life, even if you don't have a goal. Just like, well, you're you're not the best that you are, because there's a lot of room inside you to grow. Well, how about you try and fill that a little bit? Just like do a few things. Go read, go to the gym, study better. If you're in school, do something that will help you grow. And maybe on the way, uh, on that process, or in that process, you realize what you want to do for the rest of your life. And perhaps not, and perhaps you need 10 years of making yourself better for you to understand where you're actually going. And those years are not wasted because you made yourself a better person. So it's really interesting to see the change in yourself once you start consciously and deliberately setting out the goal of becoming a better individual in society. It's really it's really one of the best things you can do for you, for your family, and for everyone else. Because once you start doing that, your family will be proud of you, and perhaps you inspire your little brother or sister. And society is much better because one of those things that you would realize as you set out the goal of becoming a better person or becoming someone who's respected is that you actually stop doing the things to hurt society. You stop throwing the trash, for example. You start doing good things to I don't know, people around you, because you understand that that's a component of what it means to be a better individual in life. And it's those things that really count once you really think about it. Those things are really what counts. Is that the moment you start stopping to do the things that will hurt you, your family, and societies, it's really good. And it's noble, and it's interesting to see in people. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Zakaria, for this wonderful advice. One of the audience, actually, she's one of GBF Young Leader. She said, "I have something I would want to share with I would want to share it with our speaker, Zakaria. Can you hear me?"
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Okay. So she said that she has something she would want to share it with you. Is that like what he could say to people who have a list of goals and they want to reach them wholly at 1 year, and then they start procrastinating and never get to have at least one of the goals settled. So it's a
um
problem of procrastination.
well, because no, you don't, when you procrastinate, it's not like you sit down and do nothing. You do something else. And for example, you have to prepare for an exam or do some homework. Procrastination doesn't mean like you, for most of the time, doesn't mean like you sit down and do nothing. You actually choose to do something else. For example, you go watch a movie, or you go out with friends. And what you're doing here is that you're substituting something that will give you a long-term pleasure, which is actually following your dream, for something that's giving you a short-term pleasure, watching a movie or maybe going out with friends. That's fun. But what you're doing is that you're trading your future for your present, and that's not a really good way of doing business. with yourself, because when you're having goals, it's like you're doing business. You say to yourself, okay, there are a lot of things that I want to do right now that will make me feel good right now. Like, for example, I have a lot of things to do, but instead I'm going to watch a movie. A movie's going to make me feel good. And okay, well, after that, what's going to happen? Absolutely nothing. But instead, what you do is just like you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to sacrifice this time, although it's not really uh, pleasing to do. But hopefully, if I keep doing that, my future me will actually thank me for doing that, for sacrificing that time. You don't want to keep doing those things to um, create some kind of a problem for your future self. I don't know if you guys watched the How I Met Your Mother. Have you watched How I Met Your Mother? Okay,
No,
so
I
one of the
haven't. Yeah,
one of the
I heard about
episodes,
it.
one of
I
the
heard of it
episodes
a
that,
lot.
yeah, the two guys, so they're living in the same place, and one of them is going to get married, and they have to decide who's going to have the apartment, which is not fun. One of them is going to pick their things and go away, which is really not fun, and the conversation is going to be awkward. It might lead to some problems. So what they do is just like, well, let's leave this problem for the future Ted and the future Marshall and see how they deal with it. But what you don't know is that the future Ted and the future Marshall are also exists in a time which is the present. So it's really complicated to understand it unless you say you see it as a set of personalities existing in different kind of time. You have the past you, the now you, and the future you, and you have to keep those things balanced. And if you're trading something for the future you for you now, it's really not good. Sometimes you have to do things for yourself now, but if you keep doing things just for yourself right now, it's not going to serve your future self better. Yeah, it's really not difficult, and it's why we sacrifice and why we call it sacrifice. And it's not really a sacrifice, it's more like trade. Like you give something to hopefully have something in the future. And it seems like we're the only animals that can do it, because we understand that the future actually exists, and you have to like bargain and, okay, I'll give you a little bit of this and hopefully you'll give me a little bit of that. So this is how you should see it. You shouldn't see it as sacrificing uh, your time and effort. No, you should see it as like, well, I'm given the price to hopefully get the reward in the future.
Yeah, it's about like striking a balance, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there is another question. How do you deal with failure? How can we prevent it from destroying us?
Well, prevent it from destroying us is that you open the possibility for it. You get ready for it, because it's highly likely that's going to happen. And the better you are ready for it, the less likely it will destroy you. And how do you deal with it? Well, you, you, how do you deal with it? Well, there's no way to deal with it except for the fact that you sit down and you look back at,
Yeah.
and you calculate what you did wrong, and you try to uh, I know it sounds cliche, but there's no other
Yeah.
way around it. You
Also,
try
there
to
is
learn from it.
exactly, and you have to accept it like at the first place, you know. You have to accept that you fail and then
Well,
you move
unless
on.
you claim to be, unless you claim to be perfect, then
Mm,
the possibility of failure is there. It's just like, you are going to fail. Spoiler alert. There's no, if you don't fail at your job, you're going to fail at something else. And it's okay, understand it, that you're going to fail. Actually, it humbles you, first of all, because you know that you're not perfect, and you're going to actually do something stupid at one point. Let's just hope it's not stupid enough that will destroy you, and
yeah.
let's just hope that you'll actually look back and learn something from it.
Yeah, you know, failure is just part of the process. You cannot like move on in life without failing. You will fail at a certain time, but you should not like you should not leave it destroy you, as we said. You should just first accept it, and then you calculate what is wrong, and you try to avoid it in the future, as you said,
Yeah,
Zakaria. Yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
so exactly. So the last question is, what is the suitable time for meditation?
Well, that's different. I think that's different from one person to another. And for me, it's I used to do it in the morning, before I do anything else. Um, the best time is just, uh, it's better to do it in the morning because you set out a nice uh, mood for the day, I guess. But it's just whenever you need it, whenever you feel like you need to just go on a quiet place and take some breaths and just like really get to know yourself better, you should actually do it. But a specific time, I wouldn't say. It's just like, just start and you'll find out the right time for you.
Yes, exactly. It differs from one individual to another. And
Yeah.
whenever you need like to rest, you need to meditate, do that. So Zakaria, thank you so much. I would like to thank you for your time, for accepting our invitation to share with us your experience, and to share with GBF audience your journey and all that. So I'm sure you're inspiring too many youngsters. Thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you our audience for following us. If you have a word to say, and then we close this webinar.
Just like, thank you for inviting me, and it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
And happy Ramadan, everyone. That's it.
Thank you. Happy Ramadan, Zakaria, and take care. Goodbye,
You too.
everyone. Yeah,
Bye.
and thank you again.